Yes, it's great to have plans, but oftentimes the road less traveled, the winding road, if you will, is the far more fulfilling one because you get to enjoy a lot of twists and turns, new adventures, new people, and honestly, that's the energy coming through for you. What's required is flexibility, imagination, and not thinking yourself into a corner. So if you're willing to deviate a little bit, to pivot, and to try something different, great rewards await you. So the question is, Aquarius, how flexible are you right now in trying something new, getting out of your comfort zone, and allowing life to throw an exciting curveball your way? One of the images that's coming through in addition to that curving path is like a spring or like a slinky toy, and this reminds me of the ability to rebound. So if there's been something challenging, something confounding in your life, this is just a moment where things might compress a little bit, but then I see expansion following. So as we take a look at the cards here in just a moment, we'll look for those pressure points, we'll look for the winding road, and we'll also look for the expansion as well. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. This is for Aquarius. Yes, we're looking at an end of the month checkpoint. Next month will be on time, but just so that you know what's going on in my life, I had to leave my old apartment. I'm in a temporary lodging, and then I'm going to be traveling out of the country next month. So the schedules have to be a little more flexible. So this is one of the first areas that you can practice that in. Anyway, let's check in on Apollo, and then we'll get shuffling the cards. Oh my gosh, he looks so cute. Let's give him a little scratch on the head, and then we'll begin. Hey, buddy. How you doing over there? Yes, good boy. All right, everything's better with a little bit of Apollo, right? Take a moment now, please. Close your eyes. Imagine that the sun is shining directly overhead, creating a circle of light around you. And in that circle, let's welcome in angels, spirit guides, and ascended masters. We're going to do a past, present, and future read first, and then we'll go into some additional facets. We're going to start off first with the past energy. Knight of Cups. So I love the Knight of Cups because it can represent good news, new ideas, love, opportunity, passion, creativity. It can also be a little stormy and tumultuous, and we can see some of that here as this knight is treading through the water. So even though there's so much to love about the Knight of Cups, there can be heightened emotions, heightened sensitivity, and tumults that come through from time to time. You will weather this storm. That is a consistent thread that I've seen through multiple readings. And because this knight is in the upright position, you're going to land on your feet, possibly surprising yourself. And I'd really encourage you in this moment to follow through on your vision. There's a lot to love, literally, with the Knight of Cups. And you may be deciding to put a little bit more focus into your core relationships, whether it's a friend, a partner, a family member. Love and compassion are leading the way. And also, they're really comprising the wind in your sails. So this is a great way to kick off the reading, but I did want to highlight that emotions are emotions, and some of you might just be feeling the intensity of the emotions stronger than others. Now, as we take a look here at the present energy, there's a little bit more shifting and working to do here. So we have the Five of Wands, which sometimes can represent conflict. You can especially see it with that guy in the background. It can represent unnecessary action and work that isn't necessarily bringing the desired results. Sometimes it's poor leadership. Sometimes you just feel like you're spinning your wheels. And sometimes people are just pushy. So whatever is going on right now, take a step back. The next card in this is leadership. And in order to be a leader or to lead by example, you have to get a lay for the land. So it feels like you might just be too far in the thicket or the weeds to see the big picture. Taking a break, taking a sick day, taking a holiday, very good thing here to give you the perspective that you need. You might also just be done with something. The Five of Wands represents a situation in your life where the level of effort is much higher from your perspective than someone else. You're not getting what you need. And this isn't just like money. It can be respect. It can be reciprocity. Something needs to give here. Rise above, lead by example, and find a place in your life where you're not spinning your wheels, okay? So permission to move into the different path, and this is why I saw that sort of winding road in front of you. This is also where you could back yourself or paint yourself into a corner. Sometimes we have to throw out the old recipe and sort of get more inventive. What used to work may not work anymore, and the level of effort that you're putting into it isn't creating the desired results. So let's see what the future card is showing us. We have the King of Cups, an upgrade here from what you've started with, but it's in the reverse position. I like that we have a dragon on this, by the way. So what we're seeing here is a super flexible dragon. So we really have a serpent here. And it's almost like behind him is like this whirlpool or like tornado, or I guess it would be, what is it, like a hurricane. And so what you want to do in this situation, if there's a lot of energy and it's stormy, is rise above. Whatever challenge is here, you can get through this, but you may decide to pivot and move around it. There might be a person in your life that's just causing some trouble, stirring the pot, stirring things up. And you get to stand your ground and just say, I'm not going to participate in that. For many of you, there could be such an overwhelming amount of emotions or energy that you might need to pause and figure out, like strategize. What is it that matters to you? This passion is so powerful, but if you're feeling overwhelmed or if you're overthinking something, it's kind of hard to figure out which end is up, which is why this is reversed. So ground yourself, figure out what matters, and let some of the other stuff go. I think some of you could also just benefit from talking to a friend, talking to a therapist, or finding a way to focus on the things that bring you joy, but let the other stuff go. Speaking of the relationships, someone in your life may need a lot more from you, and it's not always just like a romantic relationship. There could be a family member that's going through a health situation. You might have a child that just needs a little bit more focus and attention right now. It doesn't necessarily look like it's you, but if you're the one that needs that support, don't be afraid to ask. And when there are other people in your life, give what you can, but also healthy boundaries are important, okay? Please do take care of yourself. Now let's go ahead and dig a little bit deeper into the forecast and expand into health, wealth, love, and destiny. Health, got 2. Wealth, love, destiny. All right, beginning with health, which is your mind, body, and spirit, this is where we actually got 2. The first one was the 8 of Swords, and then right beneath it, we have Hanged Man in reverse. Let's start off with the 8 of Swords. Not everything is the way that it seems. This can represent things that are beneath the surface, or something that isn't obvious. This is a perfect time to get a second opinion in any health situation. It's also an invitation for those of you that might be having either eye or ear issues to get that checked out. Ophthalmology and also like ENT doctors are connected with this card. But more than that, there may be a solution or opportunity for treatment that is unconventional or unknown, so getting a second opinion is really, really good. And you may be able also to sense something in your body before it's visible, so pay attention to those weird aches, pains, or just, something unusual in the body that normally isn't there, and articulate that to your healthcare professional. This is also about ways of dealing with stress and the unknown. It's less the sort of stress that we see in the 9 of Swords that can create insomnia, and it's more like, I can't see what the next move is. And even though we're looking at health, I'm getting sort of like life purpose, career, coaching. You might be able to get someone else's perspective. Counseling in general, whether it's professional counseling for emotional challenges or it's career counseling, which still generate emotional responses. Maybe a little of both. Talk to people. You don't have to keep this all inside. Also, as we look at the next card here, the Hanged Man in reverse, there's frustration here. There's a belief for some of you that I'm stuck, or I don't know why is this taking so long? It's like the kid in the back of the car that wants to know, Mommy and Daddy, are we there yet? Not yet, but soon. The Hanged Man here, if we look at it in the upright position, shows someone who is pausing, pivoting, and looking at all of the paths around them. The winding path, the untraveled path, the road less traveled. That's really what you want to be focusing on right now. Embrace the unknown, get comfortable with ambiguity, try new things, get out of your comfort zone when it comes to health. Maybe trying different approaches towards how to, again, deal with stress, deal with anxiety, or even just to get healthy. There's more than one way to go at it. So stay open-minded, and that's going to help you. Most importantly, don't rush. And if you're not ready or don't want to do it, find someone who will listen to your needs, because they do matter, my friend. All right, let's move on from health to wealth. Wealth is your resources, life purpose, and career. And as we take a look at the wealth card, we have King of Swords in the reverse position. Okay, there's a lot to unpack with this. Speak up if you don't like something. Speak up if you don't agree with someone. Change the language in a contract if it's not providing the equity that you deserve. The King of Swords is powerful, and they wield the power in their communication, in their language, in the writing, and you never want to underestimate the importance of articulating what's good and what's not good. But this is also Spirit giving you the gentlest of nudges out of the sort of nest. It's like a mama bird saying, you can fly, okay? But also saying, if you've talked the talk, you have to walk the walk. So embody and demonstrate and model what it is that you want, as well as talking about it, okay? We're seeing a lot of positivity going on when it comes to all aspects of your life. Students, speak up, share your vision, share your voice. It's a time for public speaking. For people that are in a working sort of capacity right now, if you're employed or volunteering, this is a really important time for you to articulate your boundaries, your needs, and desires so that you can accomplish your goals. For students and retirees, we're really looking at making sure that you feel like your voice is being heard. So everyone across the spectrum, you may have people around you that talk more than they listen. In this particular period of time, remind people that it needs to be more 50-50, that everyone deserves a moment at the podium or the mic. And ultimately, it's about giving yourself permission to revise, edit, and imagine something beyond the original path or the original goal that you set for yourselves, okay? Now let's move on to love and relationships. And this is where some healing and some work needs to happen. So we have the Five of Pentacles. We can see, usually there's two people. In this deck, there's just one. What I love about this, though, is they hold that sort of spark, the energy, everything that they need, they contain. This can often connect with healing wounds from the past. So again, we're looking at love. This could be the friends, but it could also be, family and friends. Someone in the past where they didn't come through in the way, shape, or form you needed them to. Maybe they just didn't have the tools, the coping tools, the life experiences, and as a result, they might have rejected you unfairly, unnecessarily, but it still hurts. The little kid inside is like, that wasn't fair, and you're right, it wasn't. So fight for your worth and your value now. Never underestimate yourself. Never sell yourself short. One thing that's really heartening in all Five of Pentacles illustrations, and you see it as a common thread in this, is that there is shelter, that there is support, even if it's not around you. So this person here is incapable of giving this child what they need. And that's more on them, not on the child, okay? So heal the inner child, look at your budget, and also look at how much you're giving to others, because sometimes what happens when we're rejected or neglected, we kind of go into this overachiever mode. Well, I'll show you just how much I'm worth, and if I work really hard, people will love me. You're enough, exactly as you are right now. And value yourself not by the paycheck, not by the applause, but like by the impact that you make. I had a similar message with other signs, which is richness and wealth go beyond this. It's coming through in different articulations, but that's it. But you're worth more than you're getting given right now in these relationships. That was a strange way to put it, but you know what I'm talking about. You deserve equity in all levels of relationships. Let's break it down. This is the one category that I do that a little bit with. So let's take a look at what's coming through for love. So for those who are currently partnered, the biggest challenge for you right now is not letting old wounds step in the way of a present relationship. When I look at the energy here, I do see there's a lot of love. I see that there's one person that's better at giving than the other. And so one thing that you might be doing right now is asking for more and also setting limits on how much you give. And as long as there is equity in how much both of you are putting into the relationship, great. If not, communicate what your needs and desires are and boundaries. Can you get through this? Yes, you can. But the emotions are running high, and I think that's one of the challenges for you, especially this month. Health challenges could also be coming through. If we look at the traditional Five of Pentacles, you can see that a lot of times this card has to do with existing injuries, particularly in feet, ankles, legs. Could be an old wound from like breaking or straining a muscle. Sometimes it can even be arthritis. But we're also looking at those emotional wounds and trying to heal those too. All right, so enough with that. Let's take a look at those that are single and looking. Can you find love? Yes, but the Temperance Angel here in Destiny is saying take your time. And it might be someone who is very similar to you. This is true of both those that are in love and looking for love. We see someone that's just like you on some levels, but emotionally they need a little bit more. So I'm getting a water sign coming through, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. But first, the inner work on the healing needs to be done. And secondly, I think also using, finding, and basically trusting your voice in this relationship is going to be key. There also might be an air sign from the past that's coming through, but I feel like in this moment, it's better to look forward and try new friends, new connections, new love interests, and let the past be the past. Okay, for those that are single and happy, good for you. Creativity, passion, the ability to really get people excited about what you're doing, so your leadership ability is also off the charts. And the only thing here that I'm seeing for some of you is just, again, compensation and support. Make sure you're getting enough support, okay? Now let's take a look at Destiny. You received the Temperance card, which is basically Spirit saying, slow down and don't go to extremes. And this is really beautiful because of all of what we just received with respect to all of the Cups cards, like the Knight and the King of Cups. I'm gonna pull the traditional Temperance card as well, because one of the things that it shows you is that you can just do things one step at a time. So here we see the Temperance Angel putting its foot in the water while keeping one on land, so not diving in head first. We see the angel balancing out the two chalices, so making sure that there's equity in people, family, relationships, peers, co-workers, that it's all evening out. And there's a path that's being revealed, but that inner work has to happen first. Testing the waters, taking the first step, creating balance, not rushing. And then I mentioned that sometimes a winding path is the best. This isn't a straight path behind the angel. Kind of, sort of, but we can see there's a few twists and turns along the way. Don't panic. Stay flexible. You have the ability to bounce back. So lean into that, if you will. I'd like to look at a catalyst now to see how it all comes together for you and how you can make the most out of this guidance, because by the way, that's an angelic card that we just looked at, that Temperance card. So let's see how you can tune into Spirit. That's what I want to set the intention for this. Okay, so I actually got this on the weekly collective, displacement. Some of you are feeling a little bit discombobulated and finding difficulty in focusing because you might be between two extremes or between two parts of your life, the liminal space. I can relate to that. I'm in a temporary place and then I'm going to have more change going on in my life. So the displacement doesn't have to take you off your path. You might need to collect yourself and collect your thoughts for a week or two, but you can get back on track if you want to. For those of you that are single parents or working 2 or 3 jobs, or students that have too many hours and you're just like, I can't do this anymore. This displacement card represents the chaos that is your life, and that can be a little bit like the Tower. And you need to clean up all of the sort of trappings in your life. Make sure that you're not neglecting your bills, that you've gone to your doctor's appointments, that you're not missing something for you. Because yes, work, school, and obligations are important, but not at the detriment of your health and well-being. So this is saying, let's clean up the messes, and while cleaning, think. That's one of the things that I can do sometimes as I'm getting everything organized. It's like I'm collecting my thoughts. Cleaning isn't fun, doing the dishes isn't fun, doing the laundry isn't fun, but it is very clarifying. Take that time to think and know that you're not wasting it and you're not sort of like spinning your wheels. You're actually removing yourself from all of the sort of daily grind that you're focusing on and saying, there's got to be something else that I need to focus on. And that gets you out of the Five of Wands. Listening to some music, listening to a podcast can also help. but you need to make some time for meditation and reflection too. One thing that I'm doing special with this approach is a blessing and a block. So let's look at a blessing and a block for you. Your blessing, your block. Okay. Your blessing this month is the Fool. I love this Fool because she's represented as a mermaid. She's able to exist in two different spaces, above water and below water. And she's also celebrating her uniqueness, not trying to become something different like we saw in The Little Mermaid, but actually just being herself, knowing that her voice is important too. But now let's take a look at the traditional card because there's a couple of things that I want to talk about here. So this is your blessing, and the Fool doesn't carry much with him, a very small knapsack. The Fool is willing to take a leap of faith. Calculated leaps of faith are better than just blind faith. So do your research, but then take that gentle step forward. Because again, if I look at the Temperance card as a visual aid here, that's what the testing of the water is. How deep does this go? Then you can take the leap. But not carrying too much with you is key. The Fool also carries a rose, just like the Death card, ends and beginnings. Something has come to a close, but something better awaits you. And if you can enter into it with the sunny optimism of the Fool and the lack of baggage, emotional and physical, then you're going to be fine. So take that leap. Now for the block. Many of you are having a hard time saying no. The Six of Pentacles in the upright position represents balance, but there's always outstretched hands or antlers in this particular version of the card. But if we look at the traditional one, it'll help. You can see people asking for more. When the card is reversed, there could be old tendencies to make everyone happy, to people please, to work to exhaustion. But the core energy here, if you look at the scales, is equity, balance, justice, fairness. So follow through on that and make sure that the exchange is even. If it isn't, you do not have to say yes. If you've already committed, hold your ground and say, I'm going to need this and this to make it happen. You don't have to carry the burden all on your own. Even if you're used to doing it, even if historically you did that, now it's your turn to receive equity in this equation, okay? Now, let's take a look at one final question. It can be anything that you need some assistance in. This is your chance to ask, and we'll see what your guides have to say. So go ahead and ask that question. And not yet is the answer. So we have the Seven of Swords. There might be something that needs to be revealed. Not everything has been shown just yet. Buy yourself some time. You might also have an instinct that someone or something isn't what it seems to be, and we can see this like Tyrannosaurus Rex right by the little fox, I think it is, or the wolf. Don't go forward with something if your gut tells you it's not right. Hold people to account. If you catch them in a lie or a half-truth, call it out and say this isn't acceptable, what happened, what's going on. Lead by example, and the way to diffuse this is with integrity, honesty, and clarity. And one of the clear things that you can communicate is, that's not acceptable, stop. And that might be one of the things that's coming from this Six of Pentacles, is someone that's taking more than they should and not giving back. Just say, nah, this time it's important. You've got to do your part, right? So for a yes or no, no, because there's more than meets the eye, or you already know that it's not the right exchange. And this can also be a voice in your head that's tempting you to do something that is a shortcut, or that you don't think people are going to notice. They will notice eventually, and it won't look good. So lead with integrity and honesty. Find a better path or way. That's one of the reasons, again, as we look at the Temperance card, that we saw a little bit of a winding road behind the angel. You can also walk away from someone or something, cut your losses, and say, I think I can do better, and you can, okay? And if I have to look at one of the beautiful messages this month here for you, it's really passion, compassion, creativity. It's shining through. I think the other thing that is amazing here is that Spirit has your back with the Temperance card. Also, the ability to step into something brand new. All that might be holding you back is just a little bit of emotions from the past. This Five of Pentacles is the biggest opportunity for healing. Love yourself, value yourself, and never sell yourself short, okay? Thank you so much for spending some time with me here. If you enjoyed this, and I hope you did, do me a favor, like the video, leave a comment below and let me know what resonated the most, and subscribe if you're brand new. You can also sign up for my newsletter on my website. By the way, that's nicholasashbaugh.com. From there, you can give back with PayPal, book a private reading if you'd like to. Follow me on social media. It's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh. Right here on YouTube, you can give back with becoming a member or leaving a sticker with your comment below. All of those things help more than you know, and I just want to say thank you so much for being one of the best parts of what I do here on YouTube. Make sure to check out my weekly and daily readings as well, and we'll kick off all of the July readings much earlier next month because, like I said, I'll be doing some traveling around a month from today. So from my heart to yours, a lot of gratitude. Thank you so much for being understanding, and I'll see you again soon. Be well.